Hey, what's going on, Trojan family? What's up? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. I am your host, Ryan Dyrud. Apologize for the lighting and the background a little different. My wife is very sick. I think luckily on the back half of it. But so she's been in bed all day, and I usually record back in the room. So had to wait to get my daughter to sleep, and now I'm in the confines of our living room. It's kind of a mess, so my apologies. But it's kind of a different backdrop. Looks kind of cool. You see the craftsman design of this place. But anyway, as always, thank you guys for hanging out. Some good recruiting updates to give you real quickly this evening. We are in the evening, so we got the good stuff, got the brown stuff going. So depending when you're watching, if you want to join me with a little cocktail, obviously not if you're driving or at work, but hey, if you pop this in maybe in the evening, pour yourself a good one as we talk some USC football, always my favorite. But yeah, some good recruiting updates from the weekend and into even today with some stuff in the pipeline. But first, some big news. I kind of teased it at the end of my last episode, but many of you know Tim Prangley, the great Tim Prangley. Love that guy. He's been doing a call-in show forever. He is joining us here at LAFB, bringing his call-in show here. So you can find it here at the USC LAFB YouTube channel and on LAFBnetwork.com. It's going to be every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Tim Prangley call-in show. Just usually Madman, our guy Jamal Madney, will be joining him on that call-in show. And I'll be sporadically in and out as well as Coach. Coach is not going anywhere. It's just with the offseason, he's more dialed in on, he's coaching, obviously, Jordan high school football, and he's more of an X's and O's guy, so he shines more in season, so he'll do stuff sporadically here and there, but for the offseason, you'll have mainly my kind of recruiting updates, Tim's call-in show with Madman, me and Madman will do some stuff in the evening as well, so tons of content still all through the offseason, which I love. I'm so proud of the guys and what they're doing and what we're able to do, and as I say all the time, thanks to you, or else this would all be pointless. We'd be just speaking into an echo chamber. So thanks for all the support. Thanks to betonline.ag, our big sponsor, that helps us put on the show. If you haven't, head to betonline.ag. March Madness, I want to say it's this Thursday. Or is it even tomorrow when the play-in games happen? It's right around the corner. March Madness, it's the most fun of, I never really pay attention to college basketball through the season. I did a lot more this year because USC was kind of exciting with the Must Bus. Obviously, I was paying attention to women's basketball. I mean, Juju Watkins and the women's team is amazing, and one seed as they should be. So they're in the tournament. They should be in my opinion, the overall number one seed, or at least 2 or 3. They shouldn't be 4. And they beat UCLA twice in the regular season. Won the Big Ten tourney, and you're the 4th 1 seed. Don't make no sense. But March Madness is coming. One of the funnest 2 days. That Thursday, Friday event is always a blast just to watch. I went to Vegas one time for March Madness. It was amazing. If you ever go to Vegas for like a sporting event, I'm telling you, the best one to go is that first or second weekend of March Madness. Because, you can be on all the casino floors, wherever the sports books are. Everyone's going crazy. It's all the wild random games, 1 versus 16, 2, 15, and, betting and having so much fun. But if you can't get to Vegas, obviously, the whole point of this, do this all on betonline.ag. You can get all your March Madness props and wagers in. Tell them the guys at the LFB Network sent you. So, all right, I'm going to be really quick on this first one because this happened on Saturday. So I'm sure everyone has already heard it. I wasn't able to get on the mic, just busy weekend and a busy day. And like I said, my wife's been sick, so I've been single dadding it, if you will. But a commitment did come through on Saturday, and a really, really good one. They get defensive lineman Jamian Winfield, 4-star, 6'4", 301. Big body in the middle there. Probably going to play, I bet he could play 0 tech, probably play more of a 1 or 3 tech, but definitely has some versatility, which USC likes, and I think Coach Henney can use him all across the defensive line, all over, even split him out, as a 5 or in the wide if they really want to, because he does have some great speed for that size. Comes from Texas, heavily favored to go to UT, to go to Texas. And visited USC just recently, and clearly the visit went well. He was here on March 7th. Clearly had a big impact because committed then on what is that, March 14th, March 15th, just a week later. And he has an official visit scheduled for USC for June 20th. Just real quickly, 7th ranked defensive line in the entire class in the industry rankings, 84th ranked overall player, so a top 100 player. Just another addition to this number one recruiting class. But this is a good one because, like I said, heavily pushed or heavily favored to go to Texas. Texas A&M was also in the running there as well. USC comes in, obviously Coach Henne, Chad Bowden, Lincoln Riley had a big impact on this visit in early March and convinced him that, this is the place to be, as the slogan goes. And I think what's also interesting, now this can change, and I talked a lot about this, I think, last episode, but on a Texas message board, because he had visits scheduled. He had an official visit scheduled with Texas. He had other visits scheduled with other schools. Per a Texas message board, he has canceled all visits. So similar to like I talked about with Katunga, Isan Tafa, some of these other kids, like these guys are locking in. Canceling visits, like committed to SC and plan to stay committed. Again, things can change. College football is wild. So I know it because everyone keeps saying, like, you guys got to slow down. Why are you all hyped? It's March. Look what happened last year. I'm just saying this is different than last year. 100% different last year. There's stuff behind the scenes happening, like all good things. Obviously, the staff is completely different. Not the coaching staff necessarily, but the front office is completely different. How they're doing things is different. Who they're targeting is different. Still having some high-profile out-of-state kids, but obviously we've spoken ad nauseum about targeting these Cali kids. I mean, just look at guys like Brandon Lockhart and Madden Reed Orden, and I always say his last name. I apologize, but they're so like locked in and fired up. And basically, I mean, even tonight on Twitter saying like, yeah, since I've been committed, this is it. Like, I'm not looking anywhere else. So it's great. So Jamil Wingfield, another great commit. Like I said, 4-star. 84th ranked overall player in the entire class, 7th, ranked defensive lineman, beats out Texas A&M, and SMU to come to SC and is locked in to SC. 15 commits now in this class. 15 commits. They're going for a record size class overall. There's been reports and kind of murmurs when we've even been around the coaches that they are pushing for a 30 to 35 player class. It's a massive class. And it shows a shift a little bit, and Chad Bowden's talked about it a bunch, of like they're going to major in recruiting and minor in transfer portal. And they're putting their money where their mouth is right off the bat. I mean, his first class he's a part of, they're going to go for 30 to 35 kids. That's massive. And I think why that is also so important is because of this transfer portal era, guys are going to transfer. Even guys that want to be here are going to transfer eventually. Because there's one football. There's 22 starting spots between offense and defense. So you're going to have, I mean, look, greatest example is the wide receiver class of, man, my math, is it the 23 class or 22 class? Jacoby Lane, Zachariah Branch, Makai Lemon, and Deuce Robinson. Killer receiver class. It was going to be, regardless of what everyone thinks about NIL, which played a factor. I mean, the NIL was not, and just the GM direction was not what it is now. Like, who knows if they would have been gone or not had Chad Bowden been here. But regardless of all of that, it was going to be really hard to keep all four of them because there's one football. And these guys ultimately want to get to the NFL. And so you could only have so many high profile at certain positions before they transfer out. So I say all this because when you have these now a 35-person class, I'm not saying every class is going to be like this moving forward, but you're setting yourself up with so much depth that when inevitably a few guys or a handful of guys say, hey, I need to go somewhere where I can just get more exposure, well, that gives the opportunity to someone else in that class because you had a lot of depth. And so it doesn't feel as catastrophic if you lose 5, 6, 7 from one class because you had 35. And then you don't have to hit the portal as hard because, all right, well, you want to leave, but, we had 4 receivers, 5 receivers, 3 running backs, like, we're good. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but inevitably in this transfer portal era, there will be guys that transfer. So just nature of the business. And so building this class as big as it is setting the framework, I think, for what they want to do moving forward in building this program through recruiting. And like right now, the transfer portal class, what is it? Is it 10 total right now? But I don't have it in front of me. It's around 10. And I think they'll add a couple more in the spring window. I've heard some murmurs about some real interesting, like good, high-profile ones. That would be really interesting. We'll get into that, as the spring portal window opens. But I think gone are the days where USC wants to have 23, 24, 25 transfer portal classes. Like you want to be in that 10 to 15 range. Because then you're just replenishing, you're not rebuilding through the portal. It's not where you want to be. And everyone talked about USC. It happens to all the big programs too. Georgia, LSU, Nebraska this year had like 32 kids transfer. Oklahoma's had a lot. Even Ohio State and Michigan have had it. So I mean, it's not like it's just USC, but USC did a different approach, and they've only added 10 guys, not 26. So anyway, I got a little off track there. But, huge pickup on the defensive line there, and seems to be locked in, which is amazing. So that is great. So Jamie and Winfield, welcome to the Trojan family. Over the weekend, 7-on-7 tournament. I don't know if anyone's into these 7-on-7 tournaments. It's kind of interesting how they've gotten really big. These, these Elite 11 tournaments, these 7-on-7 tournaments, like all these different, non-padded kind of all-star games, if you will. Flag football all-star games, but they become really big in the recruiting world. And especially because specifically at these 7-on-7 events is you have the most high-profile recruits all together on one weekend. Guys throwing each other. I mean, it's a huge recruiting weekend. Also just for these players, right? Because they're all hanging out hey, you're not committed anywhere. Come with me to SC. We had a lot of fun in this tournament. Let's do it. So that was going down in Dallas, Texas. Overtime put it on. 7-on-7 tournament, big one. Couple USC guys there, or at least to watch. Jonas Williams, quarterback, had a fantastic weekend. I think he got the MVP for top player. He was one of the top-ranked players of the weekend. Ryder Lyons was there, his first 7-on-7 event. And so just a lot of fun there. Jonas Williams, I'll just say this. We can talk about Ryder Lyons too, and he's going to be fantastic. But as of now, he's not committed to SC yet, so we won't spend a ton of time. But I'll just say briefly, he looked good. You can see the arm talent. He was a little off on some of his throws. I think some of it was adrenaline. It was a windy day, but you can definitely see the athleticism. You can see the arm talent Ryder Lyons has. I mean, this kid's going to be phenomenal and still favored to be USC, and he'll be a 26 class member, but he won't join campus till 27. So that's why. I say it all the time, but just for any newcomers, that's why USC is going after him, because Jonas Williams will be 26, Ryder Lyons will ultimately be 27. So, you spread that out a little bit. But I thought he looked good. Jonas Williams, though, for those that don't know, missed all of last year due to injury. So his last, tape out there is from his sophomore season. And even his sophomore season got a little banged up. And I don't want anyone getting worried about injuries. This is high school ball. It's not I don't think we're at a point of injury concern. Stuff happens. So missed last year and was banged up as well. And missed last year, I think, also because I believe he transferred. So I think it was more of a sit out for transfer reasons than actual. Let me double check that. Yes. Yeah. So he transferred to Lincoln Way East for this season. So he missed last year due to sitting out for the transfer. So he got his sophomore year, he got a little banged up. That's where the injury. Last year, he just missed purely for transferring. So he hasn't played since sophomore year, so he doesn't have a tape on there. Without having that, he's still a 4-star, 8th ranked industry rankings quarterback in the entire class. The 8th ranked quarterback. It's a 7-on-7, not wearing pads. You don't have pass rushers coming after you. But you can see the athleticism. You can see the arm talent. You can see some of the cerebral stuff and some of the tight window throws. In this Lincoln Riley offense, like Jonas Williams is the prototypical quarterback to be in this. Looks quick, fits the size. Not going to comp him to anyone at this point. I didn't see enough from a 7-on-7, but certainly fits the prototypical quarterback for Lincoln Riley. And I believe 100%, I'll just put this out there. After this season goes on, so he plays his senior year, he is going to jump up the rankings and ultimately, I think, be a 5-star quarterback. Right now, a 4-star. So I would not be shocked at all if he goes from 8th to the top 5 and finishes as a 5-star QB. I think he has that much talent. I thought he looked really, really good in that regard. And just the fact that he didn't play last year, similar to like a Jakeem Stewart, who reclassified, wasn't able to play because of transferring to Edna Carr, and still finished as a top recruit, but because of that, finished more in that, like, you know, lesser defensive line. He wasn't like the top defensive line. I think he's ultimately going to be one of the best defensive linemen in the country. I mean, we've seen just in the offseason, like some of these workouts and the speed, the quickness he has off that first step, the strength he has, the size, the intangibles. So sometimes these rankings, you know, you can only rank what you see. So I think Jonas Williams, there should be a lot to be excited about. I think this is the perfect quarterback in this class for Lincoln Riley. Ryder Lyons, same way. Perfect quarterback for Lincoln Riley. Athletic, mobile, great arm talent, cerebral. So, whatever you think of Lincoln Riley, no one should ever be worried about quarterback. I know right now, and we'll talk soon here about the actual current roster and Jaden Maiava and what that's going to look like. And obviously there's a ton of hype around Hassan Longstreet, others should be. But I really don't think anyone should be worried about quarterback. Now, I think people will look at last year. They weren't great at quarterback, for sure. I think that's acceptable to point out. But I don't think between Miller Moss and Jaden Maiava, I don't think they were bad at quarterback. It just wasn't Caleb Williams. When you have Caleb Williams for 2 years and his greatness, everyone's going to seem like a drop-off. And so I think that really skewed a lot of opinions of people. And that's not to say that both quarterbacks didn't make their mistakes, but both quarterbacks played well. Miller Moss honestly played really well. It was just at a point in the season where the team needed a spark. I don't think they were going to go into this year regardless with Miller Moss the starter. Again, not because he was like terrible or bad, but they needed to go a different direction. They needed to change things up. And so that was more of that. Just like, we've lost 3 straight. They were 4 and 5 at that point. Like you gotta try something different. But he played fine. I think he'll do well at Louisville. And then whether it's Maiava obviously is the incumbent starter, but who knows what Longstreet can do as a true freshman, push him. I don't think there should be concern at quarterback. They were still a top 3 offense last year in the Big Ten. I think they're going to be okay. Okay, couple last quick things. So yeah, Jonas Williams, be excited about that. Top linebacker recruit, Talanoa Ili. One of the high priority recruits for USC. Possibly teasing his commitment coming soon. These kids, grew up in this age of social media, so they know how to work it. So nothing's official. There hasn't been an official, top 5, whatever. But just today, or just last night, I believe, 3 posts. 3 Twitter posts, X posts. Him on his Oklahoma visit, caption Boomer Sooner. Him on his USC visit just a few days ago, caption Fight On. And him on his Oregon visit just 2 or 3 days ago. Caption, Scoducks. Those 3, that was it. So that could, to me, signify a teasing of these are his top 3. Now, Oklahoma, touche. Based on On3's visit schedule, unless one snuck in there that they don't have registered, he hasn't been to Oklahoma since November on an unofficial visit. He was at USC last week. He was at Oregon last week. Or over the weekend, or whatever. It's been like 7 days. He went to both. And those were always top. I think we're going to be 2 of the top finalists anyway. We all knew that. It's always these SoCal kids, it's SC and Oregon, or if they go for you, they're going to be in the top. Whether they commit is one thing. So Oklahoma, touche. Clearly he had a good visit. Clearly Brett Venables had a good impact on him, even with making defensive coordinator changes and whatnot down there. So that's a wild card to me. I wouldn't expect him to go to Oklahoma, but you never know. But clearly SC is pushing for him. Clearly Oregon is pushing for him. It's going to come ultimately down to those 2 schools, in my opinion. UCLA has been in the running too. Has a few visits to UCLA. But based on those posts, again, I'm just going off of him posting. This is all speculation. It's rumor season, right? That would make sense to me, unless he's just toying with everyone, which he could be. So, but he is a high-profile, recruit. They would be a huge win for USC. 6'4", 220. Prototypical line. I mean, this is going back to the Brian Cushing, Clay Matthews, Ray Maluga days. If you're able to get a kid like this with this size, this locale. Now, played at Orange Lutheran. Interesting enough, he transferring this year. He's moving to Hawaii and going to high school his last year in Hawaii. So technically, he's not a local kid, but, went to Orange Lutheran last year. That's where he put on all his really good tape on. Super talented kid. You're able to get Illy. And a lot of the kids in this class have brought his name up. When they've committed to SC, they've said they're basically talking to Illy to come with him. Is it Illy or Eli? I always feel bad if I pronounce these names wrong. I don't have the pronunciations in front of me, so correct me in the chat if you know. But Ili is the last name, but Talanoa. But if they're able to land him, so Xavier Griffin, second-ranked linebacker in industry rankings, first-ranked in 247, wherever you go by. And Talanoa is the fourth-ranked. So they would have 2 linebackers in this class in the top 5. You pair that with getting Makai, this year, who is one of the top linebackers in the class in 25, and obviously already on the roster, Desmond Stevens and Elijah Newby, who will be juniors going into their 3rd season when Griffin and Talanoa would be freshmen with Makai as a sophomore. I mean, that is a potential ferocious linebacking room. And dare I say, one of those 5, ironically, could or should be the next 55. It has been quite some time since there has been the legendary 5'5" in Cardinal and Gold. This could be the time. And there's been some people that think it should be a SoCal kid that gets it. I don't think that's necessary. I do believe it should be a recruit, not necessarily a transfer, unless it's a really early transfer, like after freshman year. But like Desmond Stevens, not a SoCal kid. I think he could potentially, he's going into his sophomore year and it hasn't happened yet, so maybe too late. Matai's SoCal kid, so that could work. Xavier Griffin, though, is from Georgia / Alabama. But he's, top linebacker in the country. Been committed to SC since last year and seems absolutely dialed in and locked in and cannot wait to be a Trojan. That's all you care about. And then Talanoa, if he came, obviously a SoCal kid. So we could have the 55 here soon. And I think we need it. It's been too long. I think USC needs the 55 again. You need that tradition. And it's got to be right. Because the last 55 didn't pan out to be great. But the ones before that, obviously the legends, right? Keith Rivers, Claiborne, Willie McGinnis, obviously the late, great Junior Seau. Legends. I mean, it's such a cool tradition. And I know there's other colleges that have specific number traditions similar. I think Penn State is like number 9 for their edge position room, I believe. It's a single-digit number, I'm pretty sure. I think it's 9. But the 55 Club at USC is one of the top traditions in college football. And it's been too long. But I respect the fact that they haven't just been giving it away. Like, it's got to be earned. And it's got to be given to the correct player, the correct mindset, the correct leader. But I'll say it again. If Talanoa ends up, again, he's still has official visits coming up. His last official is with Oregon. He'll be on USC's campus as well the week prior. But if he does commit, this group of 5, one of them should be the next 55. What do you guys think? Are we due for a 55? Comment in the comments. Let me know. Of these 5, again, I know Talanoa is not committed, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's just pretend that he does end up committing to SC. Of these 5, who would you want to see? Is it too late for Stevens? Or I know we haven't really seen Newby. I think he's talented and we could see him a lot this year. But is it too late for them if they haven't got it yet, or if they give it to him in the fall? Xavier Griffin. What are you guys thinking? Who should be the 55? So that was the latest on Talanoa. And then finally, and I'll be quick on this one, running back Favor Aki. Again, if I'm saying that incorrectly, apologize. 4-star running back out of Ohio, the 18th ranked overall running back in the class. Dropped his top 3 today. It's USC, Miami, and his home school of Ohio State. 5'11", 185. Obviously, you can put on more size. And like I mentioned, the 18th ranked running back in the class. Sean Alston, who's already committed to SC, is the 12th ranked from Ohio, 12th ranked running back. And Deshaun Rideau has been crystal balled to SC. He's the 13th ranked running back in the class from right here. SoCal, goes to Oaks Christian. So, Aki, Aki, A-K-I-H. Favor, I'll say. I think it'd be a good addition. I honestly think because of, as I said at the top of the show, this is going to be a 30 to 35 player class. Like, I would not be shocked to see 3 or 4 running backs in this class. Typically, that feels kind of high. Last year just had 1 with Brian Jackson. The year prior had 3, or I should say 2 years ago, Brian Jackson won. The 25 class had 3. And then so 3 I think is for sure in the cards. And like I said, Deshaun Rideau is trending in the right way, and then Favor being top 3 with USC. And it's interesting. His home school, Ohio State, and then Miami and SC, the 2 similar programs on opposite sides of the country. So what do you want more, Miami or LA? It's a fun toss-up. What's interesting, too, and last thing I'll say, I'll end with this, has not yet visited Miami, I believe, or SC. Let me confirm that. Has not yet. He's visited Ohio State 3 times, but has not yet visited SC or Miami, but has them in the top 3. So I think that's saying something about just the recruiting prowess, even if it's just over the phone, and just the staying power of what SC is. He has 2 visits scheduled with Miami, an unofficial coming up next week, March 25th, and then his official on June 20th. And he has 1 visit scheduled with the Trojans, an official visit on June 6th. So they will get him on campus. Maybe they can get him to commit before that official visit to Miami and get him to cancel and shut down the recruitment, kind of like some of these other kids have. We'll see. But obviously, it'll be a big, big opportunity for him to get on campus on, June is just going to be such a massive month. All 3 of those official visit weekends are just loaded, absolutely loaded. So it's a huge month for USC recruiting that we'll have all the coverage for you. So, yeah, I think I hit on everything. Went a little longer than I've been doing these. But yeah, there's just been a lot of good developing stuff going on with this program. It's exciting. I was talking to Coach. I'm repeating myself because I said this at the top. And Coach is much more of a, X's and O's in season. I mean, he's a coach that has been a part of recruiting, but I think he would tell you he's not like dialed into like the landscape of recruiting now. Like he's more X's and O's when it comes to like college. Obviously, now that he's in high school coaching and whatnot. But I was talking to him and he was like, it's like, yeah, it's cool and all, but like we saw what happened last year. Like who knows, what these kids are going to do. There's going to be flips. There's going to be decommits. And I was talking, I was just like, I'm like, yeah, there probably will be. But this is 100% different than it was last year. 100%. Still can be flips. Still can be decommits. I'm not going to sit here and say, nope, all these guys are not going anywhere. But I'll say I feel really confident that none of these guys go anywhere. It would, at this point, based on the momentum, like last year, like I was talking to people behind the scenes and it was like, yeah, this kid's, kind of on the fence. He's not happy with this element, or, this school's pushing hard to flip him. So you could there were some, Hilton Stubbs, we knew was flipping. Like we knew for a month. I think we did a show a month prior, like, oh yeah, he's gone. And then he officially did it like a month later. Julian Lewis, we knew for a while it was happening. As I said last show, 70 visits, 21 visits after committing to SC. Like, you knew that kid wasn't staying on. Nothing against him. You can read the tea leaves. So I'm not going to sit here and say 100% it's not happening, but I would be surprised right now because of the momentum and what all is transpiring with the class as it is, with the momentum and the excitement from every single commit in this class. Like there hasn't been any, oh, this kid's talking to this, or this school's pushing. Schools are obviously pushing hard for all these kids, but what's different about right now is this time last year, and this is right when we got Justice Terry and Isaiah Gibson. It was in March, so it was very different, but we only had 3 commits at that point. Like I'm pretty sure I'm trying to think back, but at the time our class was literally Julian Lewis, Justice Terry, and Isaiah Gibson. There may have been one more, but it was like 3 deep. They happen to all be 5 stars, and that's why it was like, oh, but it's 3 deep. It's 15 deep right now. So even if you do lose 1 or 2, you're not like starting over. That's a big difference. On top of that, those kids that committed, the stories kept being, and those 3 specifically, and then you throw Hilton Stubbs on there who committed a week or 2 later. Those 4 alone, we can talk about others too. The conversation was always, can USC hang on? Georgia's pushing hard. Texas is pushing hard. Florida, Miami, pushing hard. Can USC hang on? Right now, we have a long way to go, but right now, there's no talk of that about the USC commits. The talk is the opposite. Can Oregon hang on to Tom Tom? Can Ohio State hang on to Chris Henry as USC lurks? Can Georgia, can Texas, it's everyone else now. Can they hang on? USC's lurking. USC's pushing hard. USC's on a heater. So again, things can change, but it's a total 180 from what it was last year. They were being the hunted, and now they are the hunter, as they should be. So it's exciting. I've got into recruiting, guys. I've got into it. I'm excited about recruiting. It's fun to talk about. So thank you for listening to me babble for 30 minutes. Appreciate you all. Like I said, tomorrow, or I guess when I publish this, it'll probably be day of. I'm going to probably publish this on Wednesday. So tonight, Wednesday night, 7. Every Wednesday moving forward. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Call-in show. Tim Prangley, Madman, and I'll be popping in and out here on those as well. So this Wednesday, we'll probably just do a live kind of announcing it. Round the horn, hang out, the 3 of us. Maybe bring some people on. Then next week will be the true caller-driven show run by Tim. So we're thrilled to have him here at LAFB. He's fantastic. I know you all love him. He does a great job, and it's a fun show that we can now bring to our network that has been kind of a missing piece. So let us know what you guys think about that. But thanks, as always, for hanging out with me. Everyone have a fantastic day and week. We'll be back on the live here in a little bit, and I'll be back with more recruiting updates throughout the week. Hopefully trying to do these every day at some point. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. USC LAFB's YouTube channel. If you're not even there, please go and do it. It helps us out. LAFBnetwork.com is where you can find all of our LA sports coverage. How about those Dodgers, huh? I mean, I'm recording right now. It is 10. We got first pitch of game 2 coming up in like 6 hours. Maybe I'm staying up. We'll see. Lakers and Kings looking playoff bound. Clippers could sneak in. They're still clawing and fighting. So yeah, tons of stuff going on in LA, and we got you covered at LAFBnetwork.com. And if you're on podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, just search Salute to Troy for all the audio versions. But thank you all. Everyone, stay blessed, be well, and as always, fight on.